BookBuilder is another option for you to use for creating your ebook. All of my students at Salem have used PowerPoint. Most semesters I required PowerPoint because we were in a lab setting and I was able to look over everyone's shoulders and help them work with PowerPoint. And I required it because I wanted my students to learn other ways to use PowerPoint, and it's a tool that many classrooms have on computers. So if you don't have internet access or you don't have other tools, you might still have PowerPoint on the computer. But last semester, I went back to offering BookBuilder as an additional option because we weren't in the lab anymore and we were using personal computers. I want you to have this option as well because you might not have PowerPoint on your computer, and I do not want you to feel like you have to purchase the Microsoft Suite. Now, I will tell you, I don't know if you know this, you may have found this out at some point when registering, but Salem students do have access to free Microsoft Office, and I will look to see if I can find where that email was at one point, so I can provide that for you. So if you're interested in putting that on your computer, you don't have to pay for it. So let's look at BookBuilder. BookBuilder is run by the people behind the idea of UDL. So we talked a little bit about that in my previous email, or I did. I know it's tough for us to have conversations. And we said that UDL is a way of thinking. It's a framework. So I want to have these thoughts in my head as I'm planning. So they created a way for you to build a book with supports built into it. And they offer a template for that. So there's not as much of the technology, the linking and the inserting pictures and all that you might have to do in PowerPoint. It's more of a template that you follow. But of course, templates bring limitations. So I might not be able to do exactly what I want, but it's still a great option. So this is BookBuilder. There's a link to it in the UDL folder, I think, and the ebook folder, one or the other. But I'll make sure you have the link to wherever I can put it so that you can find it. But you can see it here. They have example books, so you can come here to where it says read books and look at some of the examples, and then you can create your own. You see over here there is a username and password, but it is completely free. So you have to create an account, but you don't have to pay for anything, which is good. And so I'm going to go to model books so we can look at an example. And you'll see that when I do that, there are a variety listed, and I can filter them so I can search for ones that are more applicable to the grade I want to teach to give me ideas. Or I could just pick one and look. Like here is a lower elementary. I can click read, and you'll see that this was written, I think, by teachers from this school, and it tells you a little bit about what you're going to be doing. And then you'll see that they offer you the option to have these little guys on the side. I think they call them coaches, and you can tell them what to say. So they'll appear on every page, and you can designate them to be something like Pedro for this one. And I need to fix my Flash player. Might do something, Hallie might do something, and Monty might do something. So for example, I might have Pedro tell a little bit about what he's seeing, and I might have Hallie make connections to what the students might already know, and I might have Monty ask a question. And that the little coaches will do those things as supports throughout the book. So if we read the book, you'll see that some words are underlined, and if we click on those words, that brings us to a glossary. That's already all built in. All I'm going to do is insert those words as things I want to appear in the glossary. I'll put the definition and the picture. So you see another example of the glossary. Then I have up here the option for the book to be read. So I can highlight what I want to be read and press play.
Morning, Colette and Jimmy went to the zoo.
So I didn't have my sound on to begin with, but you get the idea.
On a bright spring morning, Colette and Jimmy went to the zoo.
So that's being read by the computer, and you can choose the voice that you want to appear when you read. So again, you see this is obviously a fiction story that the teachers have written. There is also the option for you to create the audio for the students to hear. And this is an example.
What animals do you want to see today at the zoo? Asked Jimmy. I want to see the jaguars, answered Colette.
So that might be a better option for the students because they're hearing an adult or a real person read the text, and so then you can model how to read the text and how to, stop or pause at the comma and so forth. Whereas the computer is going to be a little bit different than an actual person reading it. But you see these little guys are appearing every time, and they show up with something for the students to do or read. Now it looks like my flash is working now. And same thing here. So you get the idea. So again, it looks like they're having Monty make them do something. It said, let's point to the words on the page.
I know words are made up of letters,
he's talking.
and there are spaces between the words. Let's point to the words on this page.
So it's a nice support to have that audio for the students, because not only is that going to help someone who maybe can't read at all, but it might help a struggling reader, so someone who's not confident in his or her reading ability because he or she's struggling in some way. An unmotivated reader maybe just doesn't want to read it, but might enjoy listening, and that might prompt the reader to want to read more. An English language learner, so you are possibly hitting a variety of learners having that audio there. There are lots of different examples. Here's an example of a 912. So I wanted you to see that just because I think that when you first open BookBuilder, it automatically looks elementary. But you don't have to make it look like that. So this is a 912 example, and they're looking at historical inquiry. And you see she was able to insert a table of contents so that you can, these are clickable and go to a part of the book. She has a page, which I think is great, where she explains what the coaches do. So pager asks questions to get you started thinking, and you can see you can change the characters. Hallie gives you ideas and examples of how to approach the work, and Monty explains why the work is important to your inquiry. And then she also has this option to have responses for the students to type, and they have this little area here. So all that's already built in to BookBuilder. So you see she even has a video where she's talking about how to do the text-to-speech and the vocabulary support and the hyperlinks. So this is great because she has high school learners who can read all this on their own and learn how to use the book. So then she has the, so here's an example of what they would be reading. And they can click, she has the glossary. She doesn't have the pictures and all that. Maybe that's because she has high school readers, but I think that visuals are great supports for any reader, because even if you have a high school reader, you're perhaps going to have one that has struggled or maybe is still on an elementary reading level. And when you think about vocabulary in the content area, it could possibly be very difficult and unknown to students because it might not be everyday language. So visual support, I think, is always a good thing. But you see she has lots of words that link to the glossary. So again, you can click on these little guys and it gives something for the students to do. And then she has where they can type something in this area. Now she didn't record her voice, maybe because she has high school readers, but they always have this option for it to be read to them.
Historians evaluate ideas and events that took place in the past.
So they can read this or listen to it being read anytime they want, which is nice to have that choice of, if they want to use it. So I'm going to record a separate video to talk about how to build your book because I don't want this video to get too long. It's already long already. But what you can do is you can get started looking through the books to see what some other people have done to get ideas. And then I will record another video that walks you through the template to make the book.